Built many centuries ago on an elevated hill overlooking a small Italian town below, sits a long forgotten and abandoned monastery that is also shrouded in a bit of mystery. The entire 14 acres of monastery complex, which consists of the original church, cloister, and convent, as well as the later additions of a chapel, gymnasium, school, and dormitory, are all surrounded by a forest of shady oak trees lined with Mediterranean scrub. The massive property is only accessed by a narrow, winding, worn-out road that seems to be just as vacant today as the monastery itself. The historic monastery was originally built by the Franciscan Order and used as such for the majority of its existence. Sometime in the early 1990s, the monastery became a seminary and an orphan asylum for young children before eventually finally closing down in 1994. The old monastery is shrouded in a bit of mystery because not only is the history of the place vague at best, but the fact that some of the locals claim that the building is haunted and therefore subsequently often visited by Satanists who come to the former monastery to perform black masses and mock the holy trinity of Catholicism. Additionally, another puzzling and interesting fact is that apart from a couple of spray-painted satanic symbols on the walls, most of the monastery itself is still in pristine condition, especially if you think about it. It's been sitting abandoned and neglected for nearly 30 years. And finally, some of the church's interior hand-painted details depict what appears to be battles of good versus evil. In one of the murals, you can clearly see a green goblin-like creature grabbing the leg of a well-dressed businessman. In yet another mural, you can see an angel pouring water onto a small crowd of burning people. Obviously, none of us know what the true meaning behind these cryptic paintings are, but they are certainly original to the church, and it's almost like they have been somehow influenced by the Satanists who come to speak blasphemy upon God. This is the chapel here. This is the original building. This was the original building that was here first, back when it was originally the monastery, before it was a seminary and orphanage. As we made our way from the church into the cloister and courtyard area, we came across an old creepy stone well in the center of the courtyard that some locals say leads down to the tunnels that were once used by century-old monks. Yet again, another mystery. That well was also surrounded by a portico with archways leading up to various parts of the complex. Above the second-story windows were foliage growing from many of the cracks and crevices. Within the portico, there were multiple decorative plaster medallions that all featured paintings. However, most were so faded by the elements and time that it was nearly impossible to see what was on them. You can see a lot of them are faded. You can't even see them anymore because of the decay. That one. This one you can see a little bit. Incredible. There's a good one. Look at its face. Look at all the plaster work around it too. Look at this. Looks like a sofa or something. And these murals go all the way around the whole courtyard. This one's cool. It's like a city. It's got like a baby face up there too, see it? You can see there's not nearly the amount of foliage coming out of these windows as the other side. But you can see it up there on the roof. Right in front of me here. This monastery is incredible. So right off the courtyard too, there's another cool room. Which I believe is a dining hall maybe. I'm guessing at this point, but I see a kitchen, so I'm thinking that's what it is. Yeah. See, this is the kitchen looking area. Definitely there's the hood over there. So this was a kitchen. Nothing much to it now. But look. See. And then you see where they would sit on the benches going all the way around. And then these stone pillars probably held the table that they would eat on. Above the seating area was an arch ceiling and a centerpiece painting portraying a rendering of the Last Supper. Although there was not an abundance of furnishing or items left behind, we could still tell that this place was a true travesty. Show you some of the rest of the spot. Come through here. This goes upstairs. There's another chapel up there. Look at this view of the Italian city that this monastery orphanage is in. Super cool. Look at that old roof. Rolling hills, background, and the city right there. These are more dormitory rooms on each side. Nothing really in them though. See? Oh, empty. This looks like a bathroom actually. This cool arch brick doorway. This way is just more seminary rooms. And you can see they're numbered again. Room 13. The unholy room. It's all collapsed. Look at this. It's wild to picture this room filled with beds. And little boys sleeping and who knows what, how they were treated by the priests. There's tile work here too. So before they would go to bed, and probably when they would get up, they could brush their teeth and wash up and stuff like that. Right over here, this would be the sinks and mirrors. You can see the mirrors used to go right there where the tile is. Backsplash, and then this would be all sinkage, if that's a word. Toilet over there. Dormitory. This room is hit too. So yeah, that's what the rooms look like. Now we'll go check out the second chapel. Look at this wall. It's all granite. Jeez. Look at this amazing stonework coming into the chapel here. The old chapel was mesmerizing and quite a spectacle to see in person. The old wooden pews were still lined up as if Mass was about to begin. There's murals everywhere in this chapel. Angels all over the walls. And then look at behind us, there's even more. There's a trio of angels singing up there. And this one's got a wreath. These pews are so old. They're all peeling and breaking away from the weatherization. Super cool though. Another one there. Looks like they're like summoning God. It's wild. These altars are all granite and marble. Oh, look at this thing. They don't spare a dime in building these places. So if we leave that chapel and come this way, this leads to the gymnasium, or rec hall. The old photos of this showed pool tables and no basketball hoops, surprisingly. We all left the place feeling like the monastery was still a bit of a mystery, and there are still some unanswered questions that remain. During our exploration of this abandoned monastery, we were all impressed by how eerily quiet the property was. The silence was unreal, broken only by the occasional singing bird or the blowing wind that infiltrates the broken windows, making shutters and doors open and slam shut. The Explorer itself was actually a rare, chill, and relaxing experience, mainly due to the fact that the property is hidden from anything in sight and because it's completely wide open and has been for years with not a single no trespassing sign in sight. Sometimes a slower paced explore is needed, especially when you're usually having one adrenaline rush after another. Although it is documented that the place closed as a seminary orphanage due to the number of declining orphans, rumor has it that they may have actually closed for another reason, one that has been kept from the public. The current owner is trying to sell the complex for several $1 million, but as you can see, they do not care much about the history of the monastery or what happened here. The local Italian townspeople where the monastery is located have recently gotten together to try to raise up money to help save this place. Let's hope that they can make that happen, as this historic monastery should both be preserved and protected. And that will take us to the end of yet another video from Abandoned Central. We hope that you enjoyed another abandoned location from our Italy trip. For more photos from this place, as well as our other locations, don't forget to check out the website at abandonedcentral.com. And as always, subscribe to Abandoned Central on YouTube so that you don't miss any of our latest videos. Thank you all so much.